Hello and welcome. My name is Errity Green and this is Wise Woman Television. I am offering you a pick a card reading today on your path to health and wellness, okay? Your path to greater well-being. But I am focused on physical health. I want to be sure I offer a disclaimer. Do not follow my advice in terms of being a health professional. This is spiritual guidance. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please follow your health professional, nutritionist, personal trainer, whoever you are working with, your doctor. Please follow their advice first. This is for you. This is the inner work, okay? Follow the other professionals first. With that said, I ask you to like and subscribe. Liking ensures other people see this video, and subscribing ensures your own commitment to yourself. Again, why do we wear 80s shirts that fall off the shoulder? We don't know, because I just pick it up the entire time. All right, so we will begin. I will offer you the 3 card piles. And then we will begin. Okay, so card pile 1. The first thing that's coming through here in terms of your health and healing is working yourself to the bone. So I'm feeling exhaustion here. So there's a couple ways that this can go, and I'm feeling it both ways. And that is, one is you're doing so much that you are exhausting yourself, like not properly taking care of yourself, kind of attending to and doing all the things, perhaps working, burning the candle at both ends, working at work, working at home. I also feel like some of you might be dealing with fatigue or chronic fatigue. So some of you are dealing with this as a result of a health condition, and some of you want to improve your health or will need to improve your health, and by working less and resting and taking care of yourself, you'll be able to see greater health. So both of these are possibilities, but I am feeling for you a path to your healing, a path to your health is going to be taking proper care of yourself, getting proper rest, getting proper nourishment, proper sustenance. Some of you are going so much that you're not properly attending to your diet needs. Perhaps you're not able to prepare a meal for yourself or prepare the kind of meal that you would want for yourself. Everything's sort of last minute, right? Like, okay, versus having a plan or whatever, you're like, okay, let me grab these things, or let me throw this together, or let me eat this little snack while I run to work. So it's all very reactionary and reactive and last minute, as opposed to planned and proactive in a way that supports your greater vision and supports your greater health and healing. And so some of the guidance here then is to be able to put some plans into action, be able to look in advance to make some decisions, because some of you, I'm feeling, may not even have much of a choice as to how much you're working. Your job at the moment might require work. Perhaps you're in a time or season of your life where there is a lot of doing at home, children are young or whatever. Now, there's always an opportunity, of course, to change your life, but here it's just like, being able to plan, think proactively, and put something like that into place will be helpful in terms of supporting your health. So the next part here too is also, there's a piece here in trusting yourself and maybe even intuitive eating, or finding ways to honor the call that may be coming through for you. So some of you maybe experience an impulse or a nudge or whatever to work out more, okay? Or some of you were given a nudge to eat more greens, okay? And so finding a way to honor that guidance or that impulse or that intuition is really important for you. Now, I do feel like when it comes to exercising and diet, I think sometimes we can complicate it, because the feeling that I got was like kind of not really knowing, oh, well, I'm so busy, right? Like I have all these things that I have to do, and how am I going to fit in working out, and how am I going to fit in planning, and doing all these things, right? So again, it's being smart, not working harder. That's the last thing that we want for pile 1. Your whole thing is about working too hard. We want you to work smarter. So when it comes to things like choosing exercise, it doesn't have to be setting aside time to go to a gym, which requires commuting and requires, changing and requires all the things, the prep just to get there, okay? This could be that you park your car further away from the stores that you have to walk into. You park your car the furthest from your workplace, that you take the stairs instead of the elevator. This means you get up earlier and you take a walk, or you're the one who volunteers to walk the dog in the morning or in the evening, okay? This is working smarter, not harder. The same thing when it comes to eating and health habits in terms of nutrition. It's making the plan and following through on the plan. And there's a lot of resistance typically when it comes to health and when it comes to healthy behaviors. So I do understand that. I understand for you that there might be some resistance in terms of like having to do some of this stuff that goes deeper than just make a plan. But for you, honestly, you can like just make a plan and follow through with it, right? You can just align and be convicted with like, non-negotiable, I'm making this plan and I'm doing it, okay? And it doesn't mean you force yourself into it. Like, again, make it natural, make it easy, let it be integrated into your everyday routine. And that's why I'm saying don't reach for the stars. Keep your feet firmly planted on the ground with your day as it is, with your life as it is, with all the things that are in place as they are, okay? What can you do to honor your intuitive nudges that support your greater health? Some of you are being asked to go to the doctor, okay? And I'm not like the biggest advocate or fan for even mainstream medical care. They do support us astronomically when it comes to emergency care, to urgent care, to reactive care. They aren't great at proactive health support, which is more where this card reading is guiding you toward. However, some of you are being asked to follow the intuitive nudge to go to the doctor, okay? Some of you will find something proactively or be able to have a conversation, interaction that supports you. It's asking you to get those regular checkups done. Make the time for yourself, no matter how busy you are, to get those regular checkups done. Because when we catch things proactively, they're not scary. They're not a big deal. They're not the end of the world. Even if it is something like this could look like cancer, I'm not saying that. I'm not getting that at all for you guys. Just so you know, the energy is not there. I'm sharing a personal story where I'm saying, hey, it doesn't have to be super scary. I go to the dermatologist every year with my kind of skin. I have to. I think I maybe go twice a year. Even so, they found cancer before. And guess what? They get rid of it. Bye. Be gone. It's not a big deal. And of course, there are inner things that could be addressed to support ongoing healing so that that doesn't continue to recur. But what I'm saying to you guys is when we catch something proactively, it doesn't have to be anything. It's a non-issue. So it's just a matter of like following the intuitive nudge if you have it, whether it comes to diet, to exercise, to doctors, to whatever, and integrate it into your everyday life. So it doesn't have to be this big thing, reach for the stars. Oh my gosh, doing all these things. No, keep it simple. Hilarious. The next card, again, is all about guidance, okay? So I'm seeing this in two different ways, and actually even in greater energy. And the second thing I'm going to say, first, of course, follow your inner nudges. Like I'm saying, if you find that you are challenged or are struggling or whatever, get the support through the health professional I opened with in the introduction, through a personal trainer, through a nutritionist. If you don't have resources to contribute to something like that, some of you will because you work really hard, so you make enough money for that. But you have to be willing to prioritize yourself, and I know you don't, and you're not used to. So I'm asking you to do that. And it's not from me. This is for you, okay? The messages that are coming through for you from Divine Will. But this is about hiring the support or just getting the support. Maybe it's you create a pact with your friends and you all go on, like I said, those early morning walks, or you have a Facebook group and you hold yourselves accountable. But finding ways to support yourself through the shift, through that resistance that we talked about earlier. I didn't really cover it in full where I was like, hey, let's talk about this block because I'm just not taking this reading in particular that deep. I do offer personal readings for something like that, but this one I'm not diving into that. But for some of you who do tend to have resistance around greater health behaviors that might have a deeper root, you're probably going to need some support. Obviously, emotional healing is always really important to move through any health changes because it's all connected, as within, so without. So get the support that you need. It might even be a therapist, right? It might be energy work, whatever support that you're intuitively guided toward, take that leap, trust, do the thing because you're being guided toward it for a reason. All of it is purposeful, even the little nudges. Again, if it's, we tend to make things big and complicated as humans where it's like, oh, I know I'm supposed to exercise, but I can't, I don't have the time. I've done that. That's why I can speak to that example. Or it's like, oh, I can't fit in the doctors. I'm already doing all the things. Okay. Again, it does not have to be as big of a deal as we think it is. Integrate it. If you know you drop the kids off at 8:30 in the morning at school, make the doctor's appointment for 8:45 on a Wednesday, all right? So I'm just saying that it is possible, it is doable. Get the support one way or the other if you feel like you require it to push through that resistance. The final part of this is when you can get in control of your life, these other things will fall into place, right? So a lot of this stuff is freed up, a lot of this baggage, a lot of the go, 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 and the busyness and all these things that keep you exhausted. A lot of this falls into place when you kind of get control of your life. So really take a good look at your life where you feel out of control, which is why you're running around crazy, and how can you reframe it as well as sort of strategize or organize your life so that you are in control of it and it is not in control of you. That's going to be your bigger, deeper inner work step to be able to support some of these changes that you can integrate into your daily life, to your daily routine. This is going to be the bigger thing. Where can I begin to take control of my life where it feels out of control? Take a look at your life, because where it feels out of control is where you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off. You're running around because you feel out of control. And why do you feel out of control? Take a look at that. You know, could it be something as simple or superficial as the boss, you know, texts and emails me even in my off time hours? Or is it something like, I feel like I have to do this now. I have to do the dishes now. I have to do the laundry now. I have to do this now. You know, where is the is there an inner dictator here? Where is the dictator at that's telling you to move so quickly and to do all of the things? Start looking at where you feel out of control that leads you to busy behavior, that leads you to exhaustion, so you can clear or kind of release this old pattern as you're stepping into these new integrated practices to support your greater health and your wellness and well-being. So that was your reading, pile one. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed it or resonated, comment below. I also welcome you to like and subscribe. And last but not least, I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching if you want support with this. So until next time. Okay, so pile two, I want to pull a clarifier card for you. Okay, so pile two, right off the bat, I was like, boom, this needed to come out. So pile two, your path to greater health, to wellness, your path to well-being has to do with not giving the reins of your life over to your mind, your mental chatter, your worries, your stress, and your inner dialogue, okay? This is getting in tune with your deeper self, your truer self, your inner nature, your natural rhythm, your natural flow, the natural flow. When we look out in nature, very rarely, you know, even when a thunderstorm is brewing, you know, very rarely do we see animals getting stressed, quote unquote, or worried. You know, it's unlikely. In some cases, sure. When a lion awaits, right, on the horizon, okay, get worried. Do what you got to do. You know, let that lead to action. But humans tend to live in our minds. We know this, right? This is like 101. And for you, pile two, this is a huge element, variable, and influence on your health, on your wellness and well-being. Has to do with your mind. Your mind creating worries even where there are none. Your mind perseverating, fixating, or obsessing over a worry, over a little flaw, over a thing that must be done, over a thing that happened, over a thing that you said, over a thing that you need to do, over a thing that your kid did. Right? Pile two. Right now, I know you're like, oh my God, like, she just hit the nail on the head. That's totally me, right? So, because you guys know this. Because for many of you, pile two, you're a prisoner of your own mind, and it can feel like torture at times. It's also part of your genius, no doubt. If your mind is this strong and this influential, the flip side of that coin or this paradox is that you have an incredible, brilliant, beautiful mind. Put it toward good use, you know? Go do research experiments in your off time, all right? Write, creatively express yourself. Find ways to use that mental power toward good, you know, transmute all of this mental energy that when it sits there, it festers, meaning it's going to find something to fixate on. Give it focus, give it direction, give it guidance. That way it can kind of be occupied and preoccupied. It kind of knows where it's moving and what it's doing. So that way your body can step into flow, to organic flow, intuitive flow, natural flow. Again, like the natural world. You know, they live by this very natural rhythm of sun and moon, and that's the rhythm they live by. It never goes faster, never goes slower, and that's what they're living by. And pile two, you're being asked to find your flow, right? Your natural rhythm. And your key to doing that is releasing this mental chatter. And again, you can't just say, many times we can't just say, all right, mind, no longer listening to you. I mean, sometimes, sure, and especially if you're on the path of like learning meditation, mindfulness, over time it will soften, no doubt. But pile 2, you guys have some great minds. I already know that because it does all of this, okay? If it can do that, it can do a lot of good too. And so if you give it focus, if you give it direction, even through a dream or a vision, like, okay, anytime my mind does this, I will focus on the flip side, or I will put my mind again to use in creative expressions, or I'll put my mind to use, so I'll sign up for school. Not that I want to add that on there, because actually, as soon as I said that, it was like, it'll lead to more mental chatter. You want to find a way, something that your mind can stick to, so to speak. You give it a job that honors you and honors what you want, okay? So again, finding that creative space, giving it focus, giving it discipline, so that it can kind of step aside, you know, because it's going to daydream or whatever, and offer you more healthy energy. And you can then step into your body and begin to learn your natural rhythm as well as the natural flow. Because there's also a message here about learning to play, be lighthearted, you know, live in young innocence again, enjoy the daisies, right? All the things, you know, springtime and playgrounds, we think of kids, you know, getting into a more lighthearted experience of your life, which will only be possible when we can give that mind another job. You know, we want to give it a job, and over time anyway, it's going to quiet, it's going to calm a little bit. It'll learn by your own discipline. It's going to learn when you use it and when it's of use and when it's not. Like, just like anything else, we get to decide if we're going to use it. I'm going to decide if I'm going to use like a hairbrush or a comb today. Okay, really simple. And clearly I use neither. But you get to decide, okay, if I use the mind, it's going to be used for good, and this is what it's going to be used for. Over time, it's going to learn that it takes the passenger seat or even the back seat, and it doesn't take the driver's seat. But it has to be sort of disciplined. Like, we got to reel it in a little bit, give it a job, let it know who's boss through gentle, loving ways. We're just giving it good focus, and then we're going to be the ones to decide. And this is going to make our lives more lighthearted. It's going to support us not living in that kind of prisoner of our own minds of like the worries, the stresses, the to-do list, the fixations, the obsessions. Now our lives are more lighthearted because we don't have something sitting on top of our heads that's like, you know, the inner dictator. Now, I want to pull another clarifier card for you guys. Okay. I want to pull another clarifier card. I'm doing this more and more, I find. Clarifier card for pile 2 for breakthrough. Okay. So again, the more that you create space for the playfulness, the lightheartedness, you're giving your mind a job, the more you... So taking that time for meditation, mindfulness, I know I mentioned this, but the message is coming through even more clearly is the more you're learning that natural flow, the natural rhythm, because the mind now has a job. So now you're spending time in nature, you know, you're letting yourself do the dishes with ease, you're relaxing into what you're doing, you're relaxing into the present moment. And again, you might even have some kind of meditative or formal practice. You're going to start seeing kind of all these voices more clearly. Oh, that voice reflects this, that voice reflects that. You're going to be able to step into a place or space of awareness more than occupying the mind, and that's going to help that mind settle. And this is the breakthrough, right? This is the breakthrough that you're looking for. The breakthrough will come such that, like I said, that's when that mental chatter eventually dies down and it just kind of settles in. You know, kind of like a kid. It's like really, really intense. It's like fighting for what it wants, and it reaches like some kind of peak, and then the child calms, and it's like, okay, fine, I'll sit in my seat with my seatbelt. Okay. And so it's like wrangling, not that you want to wrestle with your mind, right? Just give it its job, give it its role to play, and then it can settle, and it eventually settles into its role, which is not the dictator, which is not the driver. And then from a space of awareness, heart-centeredness, knowingness, inner deep knowing, resolve, you're able to make decisions for your life. Your breakthrough comes through, again, finding that organic natural rhythm, entering your body, that lightheartedness, as well as creating opportunities for you to see your life and experience your life from the space of awareness, okay? Also part of your path to health and healing, or wellness and well-being, is getting really in tune. And as everything starts quieting down, as the mind starts quieting down, as you get comfortable in your body, all right, and the pressure starts easing up and things start kind of being more natural, the natural calm and flow, and you kind of get used to what it's like living of the natural world as opposed to the world that we've created, as conditioned human beings, you're able to connect more with how you feel. You're able to connect with your intuition more, with your spiritual guidance, with your inner knowing. And because of that, you're able to make more health-related choices that honor who you are, what you really want, and your greater integrity, as opposed to what the mind would have you do. Because I feel like you kind of know what you want to do, but you get like detoured or distracted. There's a lot of noise in the mind, and then you kind of get overwhelmed, and then you just say, never mind, I'm not going to do anything at all, right? That's what it feels like for pile 2. But I'm finding that as all of this comes into play, and like things start kind of rolling out, and you kind of follow the actions that we've talked about, you're going to be able to feel those little intuitive nudges, those little threads, and kind of follow those along. And you're going to start knowing what that feels like, and the mental chatter's calming down, and you've already done some, meditative practices or learned how to step into awareness to see it clearly. And so that way you'll have the clear guidance and the awareness of what it is that needs to happen in terms of your health and wellness. For you, pile 2, like we talked a little bit about specifics in health, physical health in pile 1. It didn't really come up for pile 2. I feel like your biggest aspect to your physical health has to do with your mental well-being, okay? Which is also tied to your emotional well-being, because your emotions are responding to your thoughts. So the more you can kind of step away and distance yourself from those two things and step in more to your truth, to your body, to the natural rhythm, to flow, to earth, you're going to get connected again with your intuitive wisdom, and that's going to guide you in all the directions that you might need or require, desire as you move forward into greater health and wellness. So that's it for you, pile 2. I so appreciate you watching. I encourage you to like and subscribe or share in the comments below if it resonated for you. And as I shared in the introduction, I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching support if it calls to you. So until next time, pile 2. All right, pile 3. Your path to health, wellness, and overall well-being. First thing that's coming up here is integrity. So there is something here in terms of you're not living by your fullest integrity. Now, for some of you in pile 1, I feel like some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you're like, oh yeah, that's 100% not an integrity for me, and are aligned with my integrity. And some of it even feels like maybe some people are, I don't think criminal, but maybe some of you are doing things that kind of are fringe or whatever. Again, I don't know. It's just the energy talking, so I don't know for sure. It's this card. It's the energy that's coming through. So if that is for you, whether now or in the future, whoever watches this video, you'll know. Because if that's you, you know. And then for the other group or the other part of this pile, it's more about the same thing, but if you're not living in alignment with your fullest integrity. Like, you know what your diet should really look and feel like. Like, you already know. Like, your body has drawn you to it. You're guided by your intuition. Like, you already know what you're quote-unquote supposed to be doing. You're just, like, not doing it, right? You know, right? You know. So everybody in pile 3 is pretty aware of kind of quote where they should be, and right, we never have to be anywhere. It's a matter of if we want greater health, if we want greater wellness and well-being, longevity, if we want that, then we do these things. It's not like we ever quote unquote just like have to change for the fun of it. You don't ever have to. You can do whatever you want. But if you're on this video and you want greater health, boom, integrity. You know, some of you are just not living in alignment with what you know is true for you, with what you know you desire, with what you desire, okay, with what your soul desires. Like, you already know. So it's a matter of living true to that. And a part of this too for pile 3s is letting other people support you. Okay, so I think for pile 3s, you all are kind of the people who maybe are used to kind of doing it all yourself or taking care of it yourself, or INDEPENDENT, like you're used to that and that motto and that way of life, and you're being asked to surrender that a little bit. You know, surrender so that you can even feel like what it's like to be supported, what it's like to be held, what it's like to be cradled, what it's like to be guided. You know, allowing yourself to be supported by other people. And I even want to feel, I would like to pull a clarifier here. I've been doing that today. I usually don't do that, as you guys know, but it just feels right. Okay. So for pile 3, so allowing yourself, again, stepping into your own integrity. A lot of this, right, is the inner work to greater health and healing. Like, obviously, follow along with the health professional's advice if they're telling you an exercise to do or a diet to follow. You know, this is more of like the inner work, right? Mental, emotional, spiritual stuff to get on board, get your health on board, to get into alignment. Because I feel like pile 3 is actually more about alignment. We went through some things in pile 1 and pile 2. And this one is more like alignment. You're just getting in alignment. You're getting in alignment, okay? And alignment for you is your fullest integrity, okay? Your truest self, what it is that you know you want, what it is that you know you need, what it is you're being guided toward and maybe haven't done yet. You haven't put your money where your mouth is. You haven't put the foot to the pavement, all right? Following through, doing the thing. And part of it is letting yourself be supported. Ask for help. Ask for someone to watch the kids so that you can make dinner. You know, ask the neighbor to come over. Ask if you can do meal sharing with other families. If you don't know other families, if you don't know your neighbors, start getting to know them, right? A lot of people who are in the INDE, right? If that's you, you are used to sort of distancing yourself, I would imagine, from this pattern where you're used to having to take care of everything yourself. You tend to, this pattern, this kind of person tends to keep themselves like distant from other people because they get nervous about being kind of taken from, right? Because then it's a position where their needs are already unmet, and then they're feeling like they have to give, and then they're feeling like they can't give because they don't even have their own needs met, and so they just keep at a distance, okay? Now, ironically, of course, that's the thing that's keeping you from being supported, all right? Keeping your distance is keeping you from being supported. Start creating circles of support. Start creating your village. Start creating your community. This does have something to do for some of you with the integrity piece. I feel like some of you could be, and I'm just throwing this out there, this is not going to be the case for everyone, okay? 18 and up, this is what this channel is for. I feel like some of you might even, whether you watch now or later, could maybe sell drugs, you know, for a side or supplemental income and that kind of thing. And it's like if you just allowed yourself to be supported and stop taking everything on yourself, that wouldn't be required. Okay, so that's obviously for a very, very small minority of you. Shoot, it could be everybody, I don't know, but it's a very small minority. It's not a primary message, but that's where that integrity piece comes in. And like I said, for a lot of you, you're just kind of stepping into a greater aspect of your own integrity. Don't turn this reading off. It's still about you. It's still alignment, okay? You wouldn't have to work so hard and do all the things or maybe even act out of integrity if you just ask for help. And again, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't just have to be like criminal things. It can be like, I run myself ragged, and I, you know, I'm always exhausted, and so I can't honor the true diet that I want for myself, or the exercise I know I need, or even to go to the doctor because I'm not aligned with my own integrity because I haven't asked for help. Okay, so that can be the other version of that story, is you end up acting out of integrity because you're trying to do it all yourself, okay? Now, there is something here too. I'm going to pull another clarifier because, you know, these just haven't gotten today. Let's see. Clarifier. Okay. So yes, there is something here too about kind of facing your own inner fears, your inner demons, like inner child, maybe inner childhood healing. There is something here about this kind of mentality of like either go, 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 or it has something to do with not getting help, not getting support. This is tied to something in childhood. So, you know, beginning to become aware of kind of when and why you're getting exhausted, when and why you're stepping out of integrity with yourself, why you're not choosing the intuitive choice for yourself, just starting to look at those patterns. Like it doesn't have to be this big assessment or analysis, but just taking notice. You're just observing everything. You're taking the position of awareness and you're just observing. That's all you're doing. And you just start seeing like the underpinning, like the little things that cause these ripples up here. So like the things that are happening up here that have you acting out of integrity, aka not taking care of yourself, aka running yourself ragged, aka running around like a chicken with your head cut off, aka avoiding health behaviors that are relevant for you, so on and so forth. Look at the things that are driving that. And again, just looking at it and trying to figure it out like really intently is probably not going to give you your answer. You're gonna have to sit there gently in a space of awareness and just be available and see what pops up as it does. Like bubbles from the water, you know, they kind of pop up naturally. You can't really force them. They're gonna come up at their own pace. And so just look, open your worldview, your perspective, kind of gently pose that question, that curious mind, and see what comes up for you around this, because there are some kind of inner demons that are driving these patterns for you, and that when these are cleared, you know, and when you're become aware of them, you're able to make better choices for yourself. Because a huge part of your block, and I love that this has connected the dots, this is the final message for you, is your biggest block is actually bringing it all into form, right? Because we talked about how, you know, the other piles have their own things going on. Pile 3 was very much about, like, you already know. Like, you're connected to your intuition. You know what you're supposed to do. You know what your true integrity is. You're just not doing it. Maybe you're trying to do all the things, and you're not allowing yourself support. This is all stemming from something else. So your biggest block which obviously blocks aren't real. They're real to the extent that we feed them or make them true. And that's that you don't actually take what you know and connect that to an action step. So your biggest breakthrough is going to come through clearing that block, that resistance, and that's going to come through, quote unquote, looking at your inner demons, your earlier childhood wounding. And how are you going to find that out? Just by witnessing in your life, witnessing and seeing what that gives rise to. And oftentimes in these piles, you know, we're told exactly what those blocks are. We're told exactly what that wounding or baggage is. Today we haven't been. I even pulled extra cards, and it just shows a child. Okay, I'll show you. All right, so there's something here that's tied to your childhood or inner childhood programming or patterning or whatever that creates that block between knowing and taking action when it comes to health-related behaviors, which also has a connection or a tie-in somewhere with asking for help, getting support, not trying to do all the things, because that's what keeps you out of integrity with what you know. Okay, so getting the support from friends, neighbors, family, community, finding ways to join together, join forces, and do it for each other, like actually create a kind of symbiotic community for yourself where you all support each other, as well as remembering to ask for help and from the universe, from God, from your angels, from your spirit support team, whatever you call them, your higher power, because we can ask for help from both. All right? So that's for you, pile 3. I thank you for watching. If this resonates, I encourage you to like and subscribe, share your story in the comments below, and I also provide both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you to bring this all to life. So do check that out if it inspires you. Until next time.